If you're suffering with hand cramps that wake you up at night, this is going to be part 2 where I share with you what are you going to do to fix it. My name is Wong. I'm an occupational therapist and certified hand therapist, and I work with a ton of people who have hand and arm problems here in my clinic, hands-on therapy services. So if you're waking up and you have hand cramps that are waking you up at night, check out my last video in terms of why, because why you have what you have determines how we're going to treat it. So we're going to actually go with some of the easiest things. Like if you're dehydrated and you've got cramps because you're dehydrated, so drink some freaking water. It's not just about drinking water right before you go to bed, which is my problem, because if you drink too much water right before you go to bed, you end up waking up because you have to pee all night. But if you drink water throughout the day, it can help determine it. So how do you know if that's the case? Well, if you drink water for a whole week and your hands doesn't get better, then it's not a water problem, right? Number 2, if you are sleeping, your position is what's causing your hand cramps that are waking you up at night. You can simply make some easy changes and be able to see within those few days that you have less hand cramp. So I'm working with a woman who she wasn't having you can have hand cramps on both sides or you can have hand cramps on one side. So she came into me because her hands were cramping more on the right hand side. What brought her into the clinic was she started to have it on her left side. So she was like, enough is enough. I cannot get any sleep. Screw this. She called and she was like, please let me in like today. So we couldn't see her the same day, but we scheduled her like ASAP, right, to get in. One of the first things I told her was like, how are you sleeping? You want to sleep essentially with one pillow. Your pillow should hit you right about here. You don't want the pillow to hit you down here by your shoulder blade, because what's going to happen is it's going to hunch you forward, right? So you want the pillow to hit you right up here. And you want to be on one pillow. Like, you see how you're sitting up? Like, so turn your phone on, turn to a 3-second timer, and then turn like this and let it take your picture. You're going to see your position, and that's a position that you want to sleep in. If you're like this with 3 or 4 different pillows and everything is pushing you forward, you're going to ensure that your neck is stiff and that you're compressing and overstretching on your nerves that come out of your neck. So just make sure that your pillow is aligned, number 1. Number 2, if whatever you're sleeping in, so one of the guys that I was working with that had both of his thumbs were cramping, he was sleeping on his stomach. And I said, if you can just stop sleeping on your stomach for the next week to 2 while we fix the problem, you're going to see that you're going to be able to go sleep and not have cramps throughout the night. So it's a temporary, cease and desist, right? It's a temporary stop. You're going to get back to it. It's just like for right now, while you're trying to fix it, stop sleeping on your stomach, right? Because it's the thing that's going to put the most stress on your neck and on your nerves. So one of the things that I always recommend is to sleep on one side or the other side, and that usually can help. Now, here's a kicker. There's another video where I talk about it, but if you can, you're going to sleep with, if you're on your side, you're going to sleep with, here, let me see. You're going to sleep with a pillow underneath your knee. So one leg is straight and one leg is bent. So have a pillow here. Have a pillow in between your knees, and that's going to make sure that essentially your hips are in good alignment, and when you're sleeping, you're not going to kind of twist. I used to sleep like that all the time, like kind of twist it like this. It's terrible. You can do that in your teens and in your 20s. Get into your 50s, forget it. Actually, I had to stop in my 40s, probably earlier, but so change up your sleeping a little bit. You want to try to do, these are 2 the simplest things that you can do, right? So usually I like to, if someone's calling me and talking, they come in for a free discovery visit and it's going to be a few days before they come in, I say, just do these 2 things. Let me know ahead of time. And then that way, our sessions are a lot more productive. So try those things out. And if you do come and you're like, I saw your video, Huang, this is what I did, please and thank you. It just helps to get to the problem sooner. So those are the 2 easiest things. So when it comes to an orthopedic type of issue, Let's talk about your hands first. You feel it in your hands. One of the easiest and best stretches that I like to do to make sure that there isn't such a problem at the hand. We have what's called inside our hand, we have what's called intrinsic muscles. And the muscles that are called intrinsic muscles, they start inside our hand and end inside our hand. So there's a bunch of them. And one of the best ways to stretch it is actually just to clasp your fingers together and you could just relax. Like literally, this is a stretch. If you feel it really tight right here, you might be cramping because your hands are really tight, right? So just slide them in. They should feel easy to slide in and easy to slide out. If they're sliding in and you're like, oh my God, you're having to jam it in there, it's probably because your fingers are like those muscles are really tight or the joints in your hand are really tight. So what I do is I recommend putting your fingers in, and you see right here, these are boom, 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 boom. Those are your big knuckles, right? You want your fingertips to kind of go right in between those dots, and that way you can stretch your big knuckle. Here, let me do it like this. You can stretch your big knuckles. See how I'm stretching my big knuckle back, right? So you can stretch your big knuckles. And that's the stretch, right? And then just open your fingers. Believe it or not, opening your fingers will help to move some of that nerve a little bit, right? Just open your fingers. Just do your exercises nice and easy. We don't need to go ham. You don't have to be really hard on it. You do one side and you do it on the other side. Now, when I test my patients, I do it on both sides to feel the difference between the two. And you can do the same thing for yourself. Does this feel tight? Does this feel tight? Whichever side feels tighter, sometimes tightness can be two things. Your joints are actually tight or you have an associated weakness. Weak muscles tend to feel tight. So don't think that just because they feel tight that you have to stretch the hell out of them. Sometimes you just have to stretch them in the right way, just a little bit, right? If that helps you, great, right? Keep doing it until your hand cramp goes away. Majority of the time, if your hands are cramping and it's not due to your hands, it's probably due to a nerve issue, right? And nerve issues move the whole length of your arm. Now I'm going to teach you the easiest. There's three major nerves that we can move. I'm just going to teach you the easiest one because that's the one that is very common, right? And it's also the easiest one to do, right? If you're going to do one, just do the easiest one. Hands are by your side. Let me see if I can move my camera a little bit. So you're just going to relax your shoulders. You want to look forward, right? If your head's like this or your head's like that, it's going to stretch your nerves. So keep it straight, look forward. Arms are by your side. They don't need to be stretched or anything. What you want to do is you want to just open your fingers and spread your fingers apart. Have the palms face forward, right? Have the palms face forward. And all you're going to do is you're going to bring your wrist forward and bring your wrist back, keeping your fingers open, right? So if you do it on one side, you do it on the other side. I can see my arm's this one's a little nervy. I can see it right here. What? Oh, there it is, right? So you want to have your elbow straight, right? Your fingers open and pull that wrist back. Pull that wrist back. It's very slight. It's very easy. You don't have to be very aggressive when it comes to nerves. Nerves are like your sensitive friends. They can't be too hard on them because they're going to hurt you later, right? Sometimes they feel really good. They don't say anything to you. That's your sensitive friend. You know, you're like making these jokes, you're doing all this stuff. And they're like, yeah, they're laughing with you. They're like, ha, 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 okay, no problem. And then they're going to hurt you later. Their feelings are hurt and then they're going to be mad at you later, right? But you don't know that until later. And then you're like, oh my God, why isn't that person calling me? Why isn't that person talking to me? That's like your nerves, right? They become painful later. The way you know it's really a nerve issue is one, they're going to hurt you later that day, or two, the next day, right? That means you've been too aggressive. If that's the problem, definitely go find yourself a therapist because that means like you're a little bit more, you have a moderate to severe issue and you just want to make sure you're doing it right. That way you're not irritating and prolonging this problem. Okay, so that's a nerve issue. Now, if it's a neck or shoulder type of problem, one of my favorite go-tos is this one. You just have to do it right. Now, if you can, I don't have the best chair because I'm in the back office, but if you have a chair that you can sit on and this chair hits you right here, if it can hit you right about there, that's the best. That's the best spot, right? You're going to clasp your hands together. You want it to be behind your neck. The best place is behind your neck. Now, I was working with a guy. He couldn't put his hand behind his neck. So then the second best place is at your head, right? But if you can, please do it behind your neck. Clasp your hands behind your neck. Let your shoulders fall forward. They're naturally just going to fall forward, okay? If they don't, your shoulder might be a little tight. So your elbows are forward. And think, I'm not trying to move your neck. I am trying to move this part of your spine called your thoracic spine. Your neck sits on top of those spine bones, right? Behind your neck, elbows forward. And you're going to drive your elbows up to the ceiling and then down. You see, because I'm controlling my neck, I'm not straining my neck. So I'm actually moving this part. It doesn't move that much. Don't worry, it's okay, right? I'm going to give you my side. You're going to drive it up and then down. Drive it up and then down, right? Those are called thoracic extensions. They're fantastic for loosening up the thoracic spine, which then loosens up a lot of your cervical or neck muscles and spine. It helps to loosen up your shoulders. Now the elbow comes forward because you want to move this part. You're not trying to overstretch your shoulders, which can become a whole nother problem, right? So those are some really easy, get you started types of things if you are having hand cramps. Hand cramps tend to be a lot more than we think. Like, it's like, oh, like, do I just stretch it? Like, no. No. It's a little bit more complicated. So if these things don't really help, or you're just trying to like get rid of it completely, go find yourself a certified hand therapist, occupational therapist, physical therapist that specializes in nerve-related issues. You might have to look for a little bit because they're not always out there. So you got to find them in your local area. Sometimes doctors just don't know that therapists can do this, and so sometimes your doctors might not recommend, right? Some doctors know, some doctors don't. So if you're looking, just keep looking, right? Just keep looking. Now, if you have a medical issue, now normally those things, if there's no change at all, or you suspect a medical issue, just call your doctor. Just go. It's okay. Call your doctor, have them do some blood work. My 20-something-year-old, one of the things I asked, I'm like, have they done blood work to rule in and rule out any kind of arthritis, any kind of other problems? Because she had other symptoms. It wasn't just like, oh, I have hand cramps. Like, she had other symptoms. And so I said, to give you a sense of like peace of mind, go get a physical, go get checked out and make sure your blood work looks good. Your, you don't have any of those problems. Your thyroid is good. Your hormone stuff is good. You don't have to not do therapy. You can do therapy and do all that stuff, because sometimes getting all those testing can take a little time. And in the time that you're doing all those testing and waiting for the results, you can actually be getting some results with your therapy. And that can also help guide you in terms of what's actually really going to help you. She actually didn't have much of a problem. She just had a lot of core weaknesses, like trunk weaknesses. Her neck is really, really tight. She sits all day and then she works out, but she likes to do really heavy weights. And if you do heavy weights and you don't have enough of the smaller muscles, the small, boring muscles that nobody exercises, if those muscles aren't there, then your neck muscles start to bear the brunt of all the work. And then you end up with hand problems. So anyway, I hope these videos at least help you to get started to knowing that you don't have to live with hand cramps that wake you up at night. There's ways in which to figure out what's wrong and what you can do to fix it. So if you're in Miami and you're looking for Huang, you can give my clinic a call. Actually, I should go like this. You can give my clinic a call. There's going to be links below, but if you are not in the Miami area and you want to figure out what's going on, you can also give us a call and see if you are a good candidate for like a telehealth consultation. Because if you have a good movement and you have good technology like this computer and things like that, we can go through a lot of the evaluation process online. On a Zoom call and help get you some guidance and help you to kind of figure out what you need to do next. But until then, if this video was helpful for you, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and then also leave me a comment. If you have any questions about this, then if you leave me a comment, then it helps me to make the next video to help you figure out like what you can do next, because please, you don't have to live with it, okay? All right, I'll see you next time.